all things blues, because really, that's where it all came from. So we're going to cover different keys, chromatic runs within the blues, pentatonic, framework, the whole bit. So let's zoom in. We'll get a close look on some vibrato, all that good stuff, all things blues. All right, so we had a B minor 7 chord, and it was kind of a vamp, right? So what we want to do with a lick like that is just outline the chord. So what did I do? I worked in the first position of B minor pentatonic, and I started off with a bend on the 9th fret, G string. And then I went down to the B string and went to 7 to 10, right? So this is the working straight out of that. So we got, and I just did it twice. So you do a whole step bend on G. For those of you who don't know what a whole step is, it's just basically like bending from 9 to 11, right? Now what I do after I bend, a lot of times if you don't mute, you're going to get string noise. So I put my finger just above the B string, so it actually, when I release that G string, it touches that string right there. Right? So it cuts off any chance of string noise. Now with this finger, I also flatten out the E string as well, because I don't want that ringing out either. So we got, so you do that twice, and then we're going to bend up. So it's a bend up again. And then I'm going to do a pull off. So you pull up, down to pitch, pull off, and then we're going to go to the 9th fret of the D, to the 9th fret of the G. So all together we got. Right, so now we've covered a lot of notes out of that chord already. So I'm going to finish outlining that chord, right, because I want to target the B, which is right here, and then these two as well. 7 in the 7th fret of the G and the D. So we got. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that B note in there. So I'm going to go 9 to 9, D to A, and then I'm going to go back to 7 on the D, and then go back to the root. So we got. Is we just did that lick in B. Now it's going to be very similar, but since it's a major lick, it's going to have a totally different sound because we're targeting a different note. So what we're going to do in this is we want a nice major sounding happy sounding thing, right? So what we do is we go to the 11th fret of the G, also the 12th fret of the B, and what we're going to do is we're going to hit both of those strings together. Now one thing you'll notice is if, right, you can start to hear what it sounds like once it gets to pitch. And what you're basically doing is you're bending this note right here up to the major third, right, of the E. So if you had that note, right? Or down here. So, anyways, enough of that. We're going to bend that twice. And then what we're going to do is we're going to outline this E major scale. And I'm going to go 10 to 9 on the B. And then I'm also going to go 11 to 9 on the G, right? So we got. Now I'm going to go the other way, and I'm going to outline the back of this E major chord, right? So we're basically, if this was an E sus4 chord, we've just outlined all those notes. There's our E. And then I'm going to come back to that and kind of bring it back into that sound of that E chord. That's a really basic sound though, which is really cool, really simple. It can take a very beginner player and make you kind of sound like you know what you're doing. So we're going to bar the B and the E string of the 7th fret. And then we're going to bend up the 9th fret of the G. So we got. And all I'm doing is I'm bending that note up. Now I apply a little palm muting in that trick I said before with your finger just above the B string, right? So when the G comes down, it's muted out. And then all I'm doing is I'm hitting the B and the E twice. So we got. You can do all downstrokes. Or you can do down and upstrokes. You know, like, or all down. Whatever you're into. Now you can also, you don't have to hit it twice. You can be like. He really mixes it up when he does it, but it gets a nice sound. Now, another thing that I did was I did other double stops that kind of outline those two chords as well. So what I did there, same frets, 9 on the G and the B, and then 7 on the G and B as well. And then I came up here to the D string and played the same frets, but just a single note, right, to kind of get us back to where our key, the sound of our root. So let's do a simple riff like that. We're going to go. So we're going to do that bend 2 times in a row. Bend up on 9. We're going to hit 7 twice. Again. Now we're going to go 9 to 7 on the G. 9 to 7 on the D. And then come back to D. Come back to 9. Now you can do break it up. Now what I'm doing there is I'm going bend up 1 and then the double stop once. I'm going to do that twice, and on the 3rd time I'm going to hit that twice. Now doing that, we can take it a little bit forward and add those 2 other double stops on the G and the B. We can also bend up this 9th fret a half step. So what we do is we just flatten out our 3rd finger, or whatever finger you bend with, and bend both strings at the same time. So flatten out that finger, right on like this part of your finger, the 1st knuckle here. Just put it straight down and then use your wrist, right? I straighten my finger out. I don't try to bend it with my fingers. I straighten my finger out and use my wrist to bend both at the same time. Going back to that D string, 9, 7, 9 again. right? So we can just play with that one little area. Again, we're just sticking, so far we've just basically stuck in the first position of the pentatonic. Another